Thought that was going to transition. How's everybody doing today? What's going on? We are back today with the Manchester... What is the name of this? The Manchester and Mason? Mason and Manchester track plan model railroad that we started yesterday. So we'll see where we can get done today. How's everybody doing? I'm doing pretty good. A little stuffy. My allergies are a little bad. I don't know why, but that's what I'm dealing with. All right, so let's just get right into things. Make sure my mic is in a good spot here. I hate where my camera is. It looks like I'm all like hunched over, but I'm really not. I'm kind of sitting up straight. It's kind of weird. All right, anyway, guys, so let's get started on this. Oh, before I get going, I just want to mention that we are running some sales right now on Steam. So if you're looking to upgrade and get a new copy or get a fresh copy of Trainz 22 or Trainz Platinum or Trainz 22 or Trainz Plus, they are all on sale on Steam right now. So head over to Steam and check that out. All right, so first thing I want to take a look at is I found this thing here. It's called the HO Scale Radii Guide. There's a couple of them that are like different styles. We can just sort of look at them really quickly. I'm hoping that maybe this might be able to help us, but I think our curves might be too tight still. But we can try. So if I understand this correctly, I think you place your spline points on the red lines. I don't know. I don't really know how to use this thing, but we're gonna give it a shot. And in particular, I want to just look at this inside curve. That's going to be the main thing that I want to look at here. And let's see if we can kind of maybe line this up in such a way. Wants to dip into the canal we made yesterday, of course. So I guess let's raise it up. We actually could bring it up even higher. Just want to see if maybe this might help us out a bit. And I kind of think it will. So let's see. Let's unselect it. Let's put it on a layer so that we can lock it. Just going to create a layer called locked. And I'm going to move that to it. And now we won't be able to move it accidentally. So let's see. Now I want to move it, actually. I want to start it. We've got our spline point right here. So I'm going to use that red line, I guess, as our starting point. We'll just assume that that's how this is going to work. Lock that. Go back to our route layer. And I think if we just sort of trace this around, if this doesn't work, we could just delete it. Where am I going here? We might be able to go for one of the broader radius curves. So now this says that it's HO scale, so we're doing N scale. I don't know that that's going to matter too much. And if we screw this up, I'll just quit and essentially revert the save. So I think maybe we can do this second. It's hard to tell. We're kind of like right on the cusp. I'm gonna stick with this like tighter curve, I guess. And I think we're kind of more fixed on the right hand side now that I'm looking at this. So I'm gonna line up the red. Yeah, let's do that. We'll line up our red on this side here, and this does appear to be like a straight section on the template. So we're gonna try that. We might be able to remove, let's merge spline points. So yeah, that's actually a nice curve. That worked. I don't know if that's going to be too tight for our little engines. But I'm okay. I'm fine with kind of keeping that, to be perfectly honest. That definitely looks a lot smoother than what I had. So let's move that over here and just try to even out our other curves here. I'm not sure which way we want to go with this. Let's make this rotation to 0. What is this? Yeah, this one. And can line it up there. And then we can make the decision, do we want to go with a broader radius? Like maybe that second one? Or maybe this turn is fine. Maybe we just leave it. Really, the thing that was bothering me was this turn. That was really bothering me when I loaded this up just before I started the stream. That was kind of irking me a little bit. We could tune these up a little bit, but they're actually not bothering me so much anymore. Now that I'm looking at them today, I think we might be all right. Now, once we put some passenger cars on here, actually, maybe we should check that. What would it be? Pullman? I'm really not a much of an expert on passenger cars. Yeah, these, I didn't even think of that. So maybe we want to actually try to make this that broader. Yeah, that clip's really bad. Holy moly. All right, let's try to make that, we can make that the broader, a little bit broader. Maybe can we go, do we have enough room to do, we really don't have a whole lot of space. We might be stuck with this, to be honest. Whoops, I didn't mean to delete that. Let's just lock it and hide it for now. We might just be stuck with that. It's, you know, it's a model railroad. We could try to scale this up, you know, using the like the scrapbook, but I don't know. All right, so that's fine. What do we, let's take a look at the track plan so you guys can see it again. I made it full screen, so now we can actually get a good look at it. So where we left off yesterday, we were working on that canal section in the middle there, and maybe we could put up some buildings and kind of work in where the road and the sidewalks and all of that are gonna be, and sort of see if we can shape that. I'm really kind of scared of the little mountain in the top right corner there. I don't know how that's all gonna fit into this, but we'll do that last. that's my plan. I'm gonna avoid it until I can't avoid it anymore. So let's take a look at our little main street area here. Actually, since now we've got our track pretty much where we want it to go, let's get our SAM thing. We can like actually connect it and lay it out. I saw somebody had mentioned in the comments on YouTube about like when you're doing curves, you should have a straight section, and that is definitely true in the majority of cases, and that I would normally do that, but because we're working on such a small scale here, it's a little difficult to add some of those like straight sections or whatever to avoid any kinks and that sort of thing. It's a little bit more challenging. That's all I'm trying to say is like when you're working at this scale, it gets really challenging. And I don't want to say you have to cut corners because it's not what it is. You just have to make some exceptions. We're going to have to add some additional spline points, I think. Because this is not necessarily really rounded. Let's go, just because I'm going to be putting in a whole bunch of spline points at once, let's just go into Surveyor Classic for a moment. And then I can kind of plop a few of these down a little bit quicker than I can in Surveyor 2. And sort of position them a little bit. Let's add another one here. Dark Flame is asking how to make a long scenic section a little more interesting. Try adding some small towns and stuff like that here and there. Grade crossings, you know, what do you call it? Easements for like power lines, canals, you know, little things like that. Drainage, streams. There's a lot of different things you can put across the main line. I hate doing main line personally. Because I both hate building it and operating on it. So I do struggle with the same thing. I struggled with that on the P&B. Like, how do you make this really mundane, long stretch of track going through the woods sort of interesting, so it's not just the same repeating pattern of vegetation over and over again. And that would be my recommendation, is just to try some different... try making some different scenes, like build a little town, build, you know, like you said, some different farms to add some bridges, road crossings, easements for power, canals, streams, creeks, campsites. I did a little campsite on the P&B, which was fun. Stuff like that. Oops. All right, we got that. That is good. So it kind of seems like this acts like as a bit of a scenic divide. And in fact, there's another... This track back here is also kind of on like a flyover causeway sort of thing. So let's see if there's a different... Is there a different version that we could use? That might be a little bit more interesting. This might be for a road, but that might work. That would be interesting as well. That's 12 meter. I don't want a 12 meter. I think this is what we're using already. So I want to use that. We'll use this, I guess. It also looks pretty cool, so. Trying to make something that looks cool is also the name of the game, you know what I mean? Oops. Let's also add the, we want to straighten that. And I wish I could see where the spline points were so I could follow them. All right, well, that's good enough for now. What I want to do is add a spline point right here. And like I said, this is all going to be sort of a mountain in the corner here, so I don't know. I'll get to that. All right, we're working on this part. That's what I'm gotta remember. So let's see if we can find some decent, like, small downtown buildings. I know there was the DES. Some of these are nice and small. Like, that might be good. We'll just put a few of these down. Are these all, it's the same model, it's just different, different storefronts. I'm just gonna kind of keep it simple and probably use some of these Dave Snow storefronts if I can find one that is small enough, because they're all quite large. Yeah, we might not be able to use these. All these blocks are too big. Oh, geez, did I have... No. Okay, sorry. It looked like I had the track plan still up, and that wouldn't be good if I was talking and you guys couldn't see what I was doing. It's just my reference. I've done that before. I've been like, okay, let's look at Google Earth, and I bring it up and then forget to take it down. All right, these are a little bit more reasonable. And I've got some of mine. I guess I'll use some of mine. AM... let's see. I got my NYC ones that I just did. But these also might be a little too big and a little too modern. That's definitely too big. That's too big and too modern. Too big. Potentially could work, but it's a little too modern. This one's a little bit more generic, but it also might be too big. This one will work somewhere. Might be able to squeeze it in over here. Kind of reminds me of the DPM kits if you've ever built like an HO scale or an N scale model. What else do we have here? I know I've got a lot of these apartments, so we might have to make use of some of these. We'll just throw a few of these down. Yeah, that scale is pretty good. It's not too deep, you know. That one's a little big. Could use something like this. Yeah, these will definitely work. And I'm trying to think of what else that I commonly use. I might have to I might have to jump into some other maps that I've worked on. All right, we'll start with this. Let's see what we can kind of squeeze in here. I'm afraid that this is going to be almost too tight. But let's see if this is our bridge here. Our road might be right here, so that might work. It is a model railroad, you know, so it's all going to be pretty close. Let's just get these all rotated. Luckily, we're building with the grid here. My preferred method. Keep things simple. What's the rotation on this going to be? 180. I love with Surveyor 2 that you could just key in your rotational value. Like, I don't have to sit here and rotate everything one little bit at a time. I prefer the circles to the square dots when it comes to playing with splines. You know, it really depends on the situation for me. Like, sometimes I do like the old circle splines. But, you know, some of the stuff that I do ends up getting way too complicated at times, and it's really difficult to grab the spline point that you want. So sometimes it's just easier to kind of do it like this. You know, we almost don't need... Well, we'll shrink this as narrow as we can. But yeah, I get you. There's definitely a time and a place for both. I'm certainly not gonna sit here and preach about how it's it's a million times better to have not have spline circles, because, you know, everybody's got their own preferences. All right, so these will work perfect, I think. Let's get a sidewalk. What is the sidewalk that I use? 12 with the curb. So let's see, we can just trying to imagine how this would be sort of situated. If we want, you know, do we want this to be our road? The nice thing about the spline circles is you can kind of use them as sort of a unit of measurement, which is how I used to lay track and do all my road markings and stuff like that, because when you lay them out, if you just touch the spline circles together, you get like a pretty much perfect lane. Brownstone assets. They might work in here too. Yeah, some of these might work. You know, I kind of screwed up the scaling on these. The first 10, I think, are too small. Or I don't know. Some of these are different, though. Like, the first 10 or 15, I think, are too small or too... Maybe they're too big. Maybe that's what it was. The first 10 were too big. And then the next, you know, 10 are a little bit too small. I don't know. I'm not sure which is actually the accurate scale. I took my measurement off the doors, and they were all from the same pack, so... Oh, yeah, for the roundhouses. Yep. So we could always squeeze a few of these in here. Yeah, I think that this is going to work pretty good. I think these two buildings can stay here. These should probably go where we've got a little bit more depth. This has a little bit more space here. We can grab these. Oops, don't want that one. You know, those can kind of get set back a little bit. Maybe this one's up here. Kind of mix and match a little bit. I kind of like the darker brick. I hate that these all say toys on them. I should have made these with no nothing on the signs. It's too big. Maybe I'll do like another release where I've got like, they're easily reskinnable. So if you have these, if you've downloaded these and you want to change how they look, you just Photoshop out that sign yourself. I should do one where it's just not on there, even if it's just for myself. All right, whatever. We'll use. I don't want to use those. That's just. I don't want to use it right now. We also have the JR downtown buildings, which we can make use of too. Although they tend to look a little more abandoned, most of them. Oops, didn't mean to place two of those. They're a little run down. I don't want two stores that say toys, so we're gonna get rid of that. All right, let's kind of make our road here a little bit. Well, not our road. What I want to do is sort of define... Yeah, I want to define where the road is. That's what I'm trying to say. So what we're going to do is take this... Gonna have a nice walkable 1950s city before the automobile totally took over. All right, so let's see. Fence. Oh my god, my fingers are not doing what they're supposed to do. Fence. Let's see. What I want is a nice... sort of stylistic fence. I can barely see my screen. I have I face a window, like I have a window directly across from me and the sun is just like blasting in right now. I've got the blinds down, but it's like, it's still really hard for me to see, especially since this is on a dark background. Everything in my office here is white. The floor is white, the walls are white, the furniture is white. This might work. Oh, anything spiky. What's this? Nope. I tend to not even look at asset names until after I place them. Which is why sometimes I place stuff and I'm like, yeah, that ain't gonna work. I know, I can see it in my head what I want, but I don't know if we have... I want barbed wire. I don't want a chain link. Fancy. This could potentially work. We might have to tweak it a little bit. Kind of leaning towards that one right now. These are cool too. Heavy chain. New York. Something like this might work as well. Let's see. Oh, this is just like a... I don't want to use that. That looks kind of... I don't know, man. It's so hard to pick assets sometimes. There's a lot of options. I hate scrolling through all these. That's why... Oh, this is a good one, too. Oh, let's use this one. It's a lot of times, like, I end up just going to other projects that I've done and just lifting those assets and just using those. Because I don't want to say I'm lazy, but I don't have the time to, like, sit and thumb through 10 gajillion assets and find exactly the right one. If I used a good one before, then I'm gonna use it again. All right, I think that'll work pretty good. And then this is kind of our road here, so that'll work. Let's move these guys up to the edge. And let's maybe just bring them together. Let's move this guy next to this guy. And why don't we do this? Let's bring these down here so we've got sort of our little shopping area, and then it'll transition into like brownstone housing. How's that sound? I like that. Let's actually leave an alleyway there because that'll be fun to model something in there. Put our toy store up here. Okay, that looks cool. Oops, that's not what I want to do. Click. And straighten. So we could take these. I guess we'll have a little, well, I don't know. Do we want our road to end here? In the track plan, it just sort of shows the road ends here. So maybe we'll do that instead of curving it all the way around, which is going to be a pain. We'll just sort of bring it to here. And we'll have a couple of these brownstones. That'll be sort of our bookend. In fact, we can maybe even make this like a little park. Why don't we do that? That's a great idea. We will end the road over here. And I don't know how I'm going to block that off, but I'll figure out a way. Let's move these over. All right, that'll be cool. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add, it's actually gonna be easier to do this also in Surveyor Classic. Not easier, just faster. So I'm just gonna add a couple of spline points here. Hopefully that hits the right things. Perfect. Cool. All right, looking good. Let's do a little save. All right, our little layout is starting to come to life. I like it. So we'll just have to kind of figure out what we're going to do with some of these other areas. We can pretty much copy the same thing on this side, but we're working with a lot less space here. I think what we're going to need to do... We'll probably put this guy over here somewhere. Or no, I think that this continues. Whatever, I'm going to put this guy over here for now. Let me think here. Now, I usually would use... like, normally I would do, like, hand-laid roads, right? You know, where I'm just going to use textures and that sort of thing. I kind of feel like because we're going between so many different textures, we might need to do some sort of an actual asphalt spline. I'm trying to remember which one I used to use. Maybe this one? Yeah. But these might actually be too big to even cross this bridge now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, they're a little too wide. Well, I'll leave that for now, because we might need to have something... I don't know. I'll forget about that for a minute. Let's try to get a couple more buildings in, I guess, on this side, so then we can figure out where our road is going to go here. Yeah, because it kind of looks like on the track plan that I'm like, well, we could look at it together. Let me go back to OBS. Okay, so you can kind of see we've got like our canal, and to the top right, the canal goes, you know, underneath the tracks. You got two bridges there, and then we've got like our mountain. And we've got our three bridges over the canal, and it looks like there's maybe like a little building on the right, and that's sort of maybe the end of it, because we've got those buildings that are on the elevated section in the middle top right, if that makes any sense. I wish I could gesture with my mouse icon for this, but alas, I cannot. This is just a screenshot. Excuse me, I had to blow my nose, of course. All right, so let's get back to that. Maybe we need to figure out what goes on up here. You know, and where our road goes. I guess maybe this might be the time... It might be time to figure out this mountain situation. Yeah, I don't even know. Let's get a building here first. This kind of looks like some kind of an REA building that would go, or warehouse of some kind. I want to say there was like a DES, maybe not. A little too big. Well, I'll just look up warehouse. I'm gonna get a lot. Or, you know what? Freight house. Might be able to use that. Might be a good option. This might be a good option. It's looking a little too big, although that was a nice model. A little big though. this one. It's funny, this is a model that I had when I was a kid in HO scale. And I think I had it again in N scale at some point too. So this goes here. We can probably... skinny this up a little bit, you know. So it's sort of a rough area there. And then we've got this whole thing here. This is, I don't know how we're going to do this. So this sort of almost, what's the height on this? Give me the height right here. So let's see, it kind of goes this way. I'm not really worried about like clipping this freight house. We're not really necessarily modeling the whole thing. And it might be easier to actually not connect some of these splines, because then I won't have to worry about like them bending or anything like that. I'm gonna connect these though. Maybe I will. Come on. Why did that do that? There we go. We are working today on a project we started yesterday called the Mason and Manchester Model Railroad. I'll bring it up on the screen for you guys who are just joining. There it is. So working on trying to get that put together, and I think it's coming along pretty nicely. All right, well, supposedly these are supposed to be the same height. They definitely are not. All right, we'll leave that for now. You know, what we're probably going to end up doing is like doubling this. Ah, man, this is gonna get really chaotic. Let's see. This is 9.59, 9.55, 9.87. We need to get this all to match. We'll get there. Yeah, I think we'll have it done by tomorrow. If not, I can stream again on Thursday. Can I stream on Thursday? Yeah, I'll be free to stream on Thursday. So we could always try to finish it then. Yeah, so that goes something like that. I think what I need to do here is this my track? No, this is the track. I need this track to be the same level, at least right here. So 10.04. Maybe I don't want that height, actually. Maybe I want this height, 9.93. That's not, no, undo. So I somehow need to get this, we're on a grade going down from here, right? So it wants to cause some bendy humps in the track, right? I'm just trying to think of how to sort of cover that up. What if we did this, actually? Yeah, that is how we are going to do it. Yeah, we are going track embedded into the ground there. And I think that that's going to actually, that might actually look better. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. I don't know if we sort of continue that trend the whole length, but let's just sort of keep it here for now. Just try to match things where we can as best as we can. Kind of wondering if we should straighten that out. Because that might help. All right, I think this might be more workable. Yeah. Definitely work with that. I don't really love that seam there, but we'll disguise it. We shall disguise it. So now our crossing is kind of in a weird spot, so I'm gonna kind of flip things around a little bit. Oh, I won't be able to. Can we drop this down? Ooh. Let's see, if we put... You know, if we've got these on here, because we've got a crossing here, right? I hate, like, trying to, like, work with gradients. It's such a pain. So let's see, this is probably even, this is even. I'm just trying to think if there's a way that I can even this all out. I would need to have... I still don't think that would work. I was going to say, maybe if I drag the spline point back to here and then match the height, but I'm still going to get like a bow in the track. All right, we might have to just be living with this. It might look a little bit better once we get some buildings and stuff up there. Trying to see if I adjust some of these heights on some of these, if it'll be a little bit better looking. I don't know why this doesn't seem like it's all the right height, even though they're all matching. Maybe they're not. Okay, there we go. I knew something was a little bit weird about that. So this might be where we, now that I'm thinking about it, let's do, where's that asphalt that I was going to use before? This might be where this sort of helps it make sense. I could also be making this way more complicated for myself. Maybe we don't need that anymore. Let's keep this. I don't even want to use that. I don't know. It's a lot of trial and error, you know? Because I think what I'm trying to do here is I think once we get like a road, maybe I'll just copy this. It'll be easier. You know, our road kind of does something like this up here. Why did that want to connect? It's so weird. So I think what I'm thinking is that the road will kind of hide some of the weird bits. At least that's what I'm trying to accomplish here. Unfortunately, I do not have any news about Train Simulator Mobile or anything like that, just FYI. I strictly work in the desktop version of the game. Okay, this might work. We might be able to do something here. Now this road is supposed to kind of cross over out this way. So we'll have our little mountain range over here, which I am very scared to do. But we're going to do that in a second. Because I think the main thing I was sort of concerned about was trying to get this road to look right through here as well. Not sure why this doesn't want to line up quite the way I want it to, but anyway, that's sort of a start. Oh, because this is... Let's maybe separate that. There we go. The spline wants to, like, create a bend, like an arch. Which sometimes is, you know, what you want. Sometimes it's not what you want. All right, that's kind of getting somewhere. A little sloppy looking, but we're getting there. Let's do a save real quick. And let's just try to get a couple buildings up here just to see what will even fit. I guess we could probably use... You know what? We'll use... I've got some other brownstone buildings that look really nice. What did I call them? I thought I just called them... Oh, yeah. Let's see if we can maybe get these guys to fit, because these are very northeastern New England style brownstone, classic brownstone. If I could find a handful that are not too deep and don't have like really deep backyards. There we go. Maybe we can make like a cluster of these. I think we could definitely make this work. Kind of have this idea similar to what we did down here. We'll put like a little sidewalk against the front edge and a little fence, and that'll be sort of how we make this look decent and try to cover up some stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. We'll figure out something to put there, maybe like a median, or you know, some trees and some something. Figure it out. This will be cool though. Let's try to get these lined up. So we'll put a sidewalk in there. I'll probably have to do just maybe not even a whole length of that. All right, let's see. Really, I'm dreading this. Let's see if we can figure out this mountain situation here. I really don't want to do this. First of all, let me go to classic for a second. Just want to make sure that all these splines are locked into place. Before I start messing with stuff. Okay. All right, let's start with like 10 meters. Hang on, before I do this, let me save. That way if I totally like mess this up, I'll just quit and start over. So we could do actually maybe is let's go, we'll level the ground. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna level or smooth under here. And we'll do it here too. You know what we could do actually is... Well, I'm looking at the track plan now, and let me bring it up for you guys. I'm looking at the track plan now, and I see that on the far right, there's a grade crossing just before the mountain, the tunnel that the train tracks go through. That road is actually not even connected to the road that I'm doing. The road that I'm doing now actually goes into a tunnel. So that's like another tier of height for this. We're not going to do that. I might even just nix the entire mountain altogether, like that tunnel there. Nah, I guess let me try to do it. Let's just sort of level this out a little bit. I see why they would put like a mountain here, because it adds a bit of a scenic barrier to break up where the train is. It sort of looks like it disappears for a little bit. But, you know, the fact of the matter is, I don't really like to, I hate doing tunnels. We're gonna have to figure out how to do them. Because I actually don't really know how to do tunnels, because I never do them. So our tunnel portal is going to be here and here. I know you got to use dig holes. Ground height will go grade up. Let's turn this down. Let's go with a higher brush size. Its sensitivity I want at like 5. Oh man, we have like a smaller dig hole? Holy cow. You know what? We're not doing that. Because there's just not a good way to do a tunnel. So I'm gonna have to do a tunnel down here though. Dang it. Track kind of lines up a little bit better down here. I hate doing tunnels in this game. They're impossible. Need like a smaller dig hole than that. Oh man. I guess we'll do... Oh, man. And then what do you do with the track that goes through here? Like, I have no idea how to do tunnels. I really don't. I've never done a tunnel, I don't think, in my life. All right, well, we'll leave that for now. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put our sidewalk up here. I'm trying to avoid doing this thing that I don't want to do. Just to make this easier on me, I'm gonna just like get that at the height that I want, and then I'm gonna just add spline points throughout. All right, getting somewhere. Really need to get some trees in here. It's looking pretty gray and boring, isn't it? We'll get some over here in a second. Let's get a couple more of these brownstones in. That looks nice. What's the rotation on this? 160. What is this? Let me just copy it. It's an end one. This one is okay. All right, that looks nice. I had an end one. Do I have one that has an end on the side that I want it though? Not that one. Oops. Yeah, this one. All right, cool. Those look good. We'll figure out what we're going to do over here in a second. In fact, we could probably use HD terrain to put some actual like ground here to paint some texture on, but I kind of have another idea of what we could do. Let's grab our sidewalk median. Nope. Thought I grabbed it. Pretty much gonna do just the exact same thing. You know, as I'm doing this, I'm trying to imagine, like, if I was actually building this in N scale, you know, how I would go about making this, like, just building it, like, at all. Insert spline point. Straighten. Cool. All right, now we're looking a little bit better. Kind of like take a step back and look. We can delete this stuff. We don't need this. Getting there. We are getting there. I'm not sure how I'm gonna deal with this. That's the problem with these model builds, man. They're really not conducive for building in this game. Always. I mean, sometimes they translate pretty well. Most of the time, not so much. So it becomes a bit problematic when you're trying to squeeze some of this stuff in. All right, let's add some text, some like trees and grass and stuff like that. How's that sound? So we have something that's other than this gray mess. Do I have PBR textures? I'll be honest, I have only just started really using PBR textures, so I don't even know what the good ones are just yet. Yeah, Surveyor Classic's not going anywhere as far as I know. There's use cases for both of them, you know? So it makes it kind of difficult to say, all right, well, Surveyor Classic's gone. I do believe it'll be around for a while. Didn't I say I was going to put a park over here? We'll do it on the other side. I think that might be a little bit better. We'll fill this in just with some trees and shrubbery, because really this is supposed to be a mountain. It's supposed to hide where the trains are going. That's sort of the idea. But I'm kind of copping out here. What is my date set to here? September. Let's go to July. I don't want fall colors. I'm not doing a fall layout here. I'm assuming that this is seasonal. Let's see if it changes. Yeah, there we go. I gotta think about which trees I usually like to use. We'll have to figure out what we're gonna do there. Oh, we gotta put a little fence in here too. Oh, and you know, man, I'm just like thinking of all the things right now. Forget about the shrubs for a second. Yeah, we're gonna do... This is gonna want to... I thought I changed the height of this. Yeah, dang, that wants to, like, mold to the ground. So we can't do that. I was gonna fill this in with some grass. Could use this thing. It's a little dated these days, but it does still do the job. Just see what it looks like through here, just to add some grass texture. Might actually work. All right, I mean, just along that strip, that's really all I wanted. We'll kind of blend all this together. Actually does kind of blend together there. That ain't bad. All right, so then we can take maybe some of these other trees here. Do a little tree-lined street sort of thing. Let's get some smaller ones. Just a couple. Helps kind of hide all this crap that we're kind of just placing all over the place. Cool. All right, so let's grab this fence again. And we'll put it here. Kind of set the height. And what I want to do is do a little fence mixing. I guess we'll call it fence mixing. Put this one here. And then I want to use... God, I hate that this stupid filter list thing opens up. Like, whenever I click on anything, if I use the whatchamacallit, the eyedropper tool. All right, so I want to use one of these. Just for some more variety, you know what I mean? Oh, am I putting this on here backwards? I am. Whoops. Cool. That's looking pretty cool. And we'll have to figure out how we're going to do this still. I'll get there. Might have to do a combination of like these median things. What I want to add is some power lines. Why is this doing this? Go away. Let's see. I think I used the Laurel line ones the most. Not those ones. 5? Nope. Maybe it is the BDW ones. No. 7? Nope. We'll use these. I don't know exactly where I'm going to route this, but we'll kind of start with this. Nice. All right, we're looking good. Starting to look good now. Let's save that. Don't need to save a session. Time we got 3:30. All right, we got half hour. I gotta stretch my legs, man. All right, so. Oy, oy, oy. I hate these dig holes. This is gonna be really annoying to deal with. And I have no clue what I'm gonna do here. Let's, we could put down some texture down here, actually. What, track is this? RTXTGR2. RTXTGR2. PBR. So then at least we have a little something we're looking at here. And I think this is supposed to be like a little locomotive servicing thing, so we can work on that soon too. Started work on our station yesterday, but we didn't quite finish it. And I don't really want to place any texture anywhere else just yet because we still got to put in grass and all that other stuff. All right, let's try to think about what we're doing here. I want to see if there's any grass splines. Like, we may be able to use this. To some degree. Do a little mix and match, maybe? Not really loving that. Maybe we could find another couple of small buildings to put here. That might be the way to go. Let's see what Dave Snow has. Might have to thumb through some of this stuff. You know, like something like this might work. It's a little big. Yeah, we could put this maybe... Yeah, why don't we do this? Let's get rid of this spline. We'll put this guy sort of on an angle here. Right, so I mean, it's a model railroad, so we can do whatever we want. Make up our own rules. So let's bring this guy to like here. And we'll just put like a little parking lot or something here, I think is probably going to work pretty good. Oh, I gotta flip that around again, don't I? You know what? Let's try a different... Sometimes I like to just mix these up. Replace. Whoops. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I had selected. Why is it doing that? It was like a red and white one that I used. I know I used it on the P&B. Actually, you know what? Maybe let's make it into like this fence. Now where did it go? It's like stone wall. Yeah, why not? That looks cool. A little something different. We could even kind of continue that this way if we want to, which I'm not opposed to. So let's do this. I want to use like an asphalt strip essentially. Now this is where things start to get kind of, you know, crazy. If you were to be doing, you know, with the classic spline circles, it could get a little confusing. Okay, I like that. And we'll just put like a couple of parked cars or something like that there to sort of round it out. And then over here, maybe we'll just take this. kind of just winging it with this. Not gonna lie. But that's what a lot of this is. It's just sort of... all of it is like a Hail Mary, you know what I mean? It's just... how do you kind of like cover up... not your mistakes, but like how do you cover up some of these shortcomings in certain builds? You know, there's like certain things that you are completely out of your control, you know? Let me leave that because I'll just replace it. I think there's a rectangular one. Yeah, let's see if the rectangular one works better. That's a little small. All right, that might work. Now, how do we line this up? Do we line this up with the road or the parking lot or, you know, like, right with the road? Put a couple other like little planters there if we wanted to, but I think just some parked cars will be good enough. We could even maybe make a little cutout here. You know, for the cars to pull in. All right, it's getting there. We could even put a couple like little planters, trees and stuff here too. But I do want to detail the front of these buildings too, but I'm not going to do that right this second. I think, let me do a quick save here. Got about 15 more minutes. Yeah, I think we'll be able to finish this by tomorrow, guys. I think we're looking pretty good. Oh, I said I was going to put a park over here. That's what I said. So we'll do that. All right, so now we kind of have an idea. Like, this does work with the road here, which I like. Then we got our road coming down here. We'll have to tweak that just a little bit and kind of figure out how that's all going to come together. But let's see if we can squeeze a couple of buildings in down here. I'm looking at this one now. Looks like it might end up being a little bit too big. So let's go back to our DES. Just see what comes up with DES store. Got our storefront blocks. We know those are a little bit too big. Maybe some of these might be a little shorter. All right, we might be able to use something like this. Which one is the front? I guess this is the front. You know, because what we could do is sort of tuck... if we could find them short enough, we could tuck it into this overpass, this road. Or we could change how the road comes down, too. It doesn't have to be that long. In fact, but if we find one of these that has a shorter building on this end, that'll work pretty good. Let's see. Replace. And we could even put these on an angle. Why not? See, the chimney was peeking out through there. Yeah, we could do something like this. You know, it doesn't have to be totally perpendicular or parallel. It's got a couple more of these, like, one-offs. That's pretty big. It's pretty big. It's a little too long. I do like these, though. I mean, we can kind of... Let's see, if we follow the road... Yeah, we could do something like that. That ain't too bad. Could skinny up our sidewalk a little bit. Instead of it being 3 segments across, we could just do 2. Doesn't have to be 12 foot wide. We could shrink it down. It's our world after all. Let's insert a spline point. And no, you know what? Let's not insert a spline point. What we'll do is we can just pull this forward. There. And then, you know, if this is our road here, get rid of that grade. How am I going to make this all come together? I don't know. No clue. That's part of the fun, though. Right? Or am I just crazy? I don't know, for me, it's all about just exploring, like, different ways of doing things, different techniques. Just trying different stuff. When you've been playing this game as long as I have, you just desperately kind of need to do different things to keep it interesting. Didn't we have, there's like a 5 meter? Yeah. Which doesn't look any smaller. Kind of weird. So I wonder if we can maybe even squeeze like another storefront or something on this side. Or maybe not. Maybe we just make it open. Trying to think of how we can make like this side a little bit more interesting. It's like, what if we... If we did this... Just kind of experimenting here. Like if we cover this, what was that grass that I had before? It was like tunnel grass. This is just gonna be too big, isn't it? All right, maybe this does work. You know, sometimes you try something, you're not sure if it's gonna, how it's gonna look, and then you get some cool results. So what we could do maybe is like, sort of see if we can do a little thing like this. Just put a couple smaller trees, I guess we say. And I always like using these oleanders. Nice flowering shrub. One here on the corner. Let's grab our fence. We'll use the same fence. I'm just gonna copy it, make things easier. It's nice. I like that. And then we've got some park benches we could use. Maybe these. Cool. I like that. It's actually starting to look like a thing. It's coming together good. All right, we got a couple minutes left. What else could we try to squeeze in here? I love that. I really do. Love that little park. Move that. Park bench. That looks really nice. Pretty happy with that. We could probably do something similar over here as well. Trying to figure out what I want to do about this section, but like I said, it is well, oh wait, we could do this. It's a model railroad, so we don't have to get too crazy about things, you know what I mean? Just straighten that, straighten this. And that at least fills in the pavement through that area there. Once we get some cars and stuff like that, it's really gonna look good. I've been totally neglecting this foreground scene here, so we'll jump on that tomorrow. That'll be the first thing that we do tomorrow, is we'll finish off this yard and this station scene. It's funny because that's sort of what I started with yesterday, and then I just abandoned it to do all this other stuff. But that's just sort of what happens. Let's take a look at the track plan one last time and compare things before we close out. So I can't do a split screen. I don't have it set up for that right now. So commit this to memory. And then let me bring up OBS, and there we go. So not looking too bad. It's still a little rough around the edges, and we still have a lot of scenery work to do, but it's starting to get there. So actually, before I forget, let's add one last detail. I think there's... Yeah, this is what we want. We want to have some of these guys. This will be the last detail we're going to add today. Now let's see, would they be on the street side, or would they be on the water side? Probably on the street side. So let's just put a few of these down. Let's do 2 on this section. We'll copy these, and we'll do 2 down here. And we'll copy these and put a couple right here. Oh God, it's gorgeous. So nice. Here we go. That's a park that I could hang out in. We could even put a few up here too, but I'll save that for tomorrow because we still have to do some more details up here. All right, guys. So I think that's going to do it for today. This is a good spot to wrap up. So let me save. We'll take one last look at the track plan. You guys can see what I've got here, and then I'll bring up the track plan one last time for today. And then I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully we could finish this tomorrow. If not, I'll stream again on Thursday, and we'll hopefully be able to finish it together on Thursday. So there's the track plan, the Mason and Manchester. Again, this is from a book, an ebook. Let me get the name of it in case you guys want to buy it. It is N-Scale Track Plans Pictorial with Kato Unitrack and Kato Unitrack 2. So there's 2 books. This one is from book 1. You can get them on Amazon or Kindle. So if you want to get that book, you can check that out. Also, I should mention, of course, we're doing some sales right now on Steam. That's why I'm doing these live streams right now. We do have a sale going on Steam. So if you're looking to get your hands on a copy of Trainz 22 or Trainz 22 Platinum, now's the time to do it. Head over to Steam and get the special offers now while they last for the week. But I'll be back with you guys tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found this entertaining and useful, and I hope you guys have a nice day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.